Hello, Flosstube friends. Hi, I am Lana with Silly Notion Stitcher, and coming back to you after several weeks. This is Flosstube number 5, and it is Sunday, April 30th. Tomorrow is May 1st. It is my mother's birthday, so a shout out to Ms. Anna May, and so thrilled to celebrate her birthday tomorrow. So I have quite a lot for you. You can see that I am getting into Coronation celebration mode. This is bunting that I made. It was in a panel that I purchased when I was in Bath in England in 2019. I had the opportunity of a lifetime to go on a special 1-week high tea type of celebration trip. We hit the Cotswolds, Bath, London, of course, Oxford, and it was just amazing. So I have a whole like Coronation section in my Mania on a few things there. So lots of things today. I actually had to put a few things aside for a floss tube in the future because it was just getting to be a little too much. So today's episode, I'm going to be including a whip parade specifically for my Country Cottage Needleworks calendar samplers. I always forget the exact name of that pattern, but that will be my whip parade to show you that series and how I changed up some of the colors, how I display it, how I've finished some of them or finally finished some of them, and a lot of other things packed in here. So I wanted to share this FFO. This is Bunny Bakery from Stitching with the Housewives, Priscilla Blaine's design. It's so cute, and I think I probably started this in 2021, and let's see. This green, I am not sure. I don't think I dyed this green, but there was some Ada that I purchased like at thrift stores and was playing around with dyeing. I had this, I have a bunch of notes here today in my hand. This is minky fabric, pink minky fabric that was left over from a quilt that I finished. I donated it. There was a family that had a house fire last year and the woman was pregnant at the time, so I had a lot of this minky fabric left over, and I thought it was kind of like a cute soft transition fabric for this from winter into spring, and loved finding these carrots at Hobby Lobby. And then this little spoon is actually it is actually an accessory that goes with the I think it's Brenda Gervais, and it's like not before coffee type of, it's a bunny with, she's with her coffee bean plant or something like that, or and a big mug. So that spoon went with that. I hope I have the right designer with that. So I usually display that in an easel, and find that works fine. One of my other recent finishes, finally finished, in the spirit of celebrating English things. This is a Liberty of London set of fabrics. It was a log cabin kit, and specifically for a pillow. And I finally finished it into an envelope pillow. Very excited. This backing came with the kit, and all of these fabrics were pretty much pre-cut, I think. And I did some hand stitching in here, hand quilting. Big, it's called big stitch quilting. So it didn't take too much time to quilt that. But it took me, I bought the kit in England in 2019, just finally finished the pillow a few weeks ago. Okay, I hope my voice is not going to be a problem. I might have to pause. All All right, and I'm just going to jump into something else that I've been working on. This was a Madame Chantilly pattern that I think I showed last time. I purchased this in Florida at Brick City Stitcher shop, and there was a really super cute FFO that someone did to do as a smalls exchange for one of the retreats, and they just did a crab, and it was the cutest crab, and then they found the perfect round frame that looks like a life preserver. It is so adorable. I cannot find, I thought for sure that I saved the post on social media and I just can't find it. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, please help me out and comment on it, because I'd like to see exactly which pattern they use. So I started stitching just this crab, and it's my first time really proceeding with a linen. So let's see here. I received this Crab Cakes, Classic Colorworks Crab Cakes in a club with Stitch New England. And this was a piece of linen that was just a scrap that was picked up at a shop. And there's the start of my crab. So I struggle a bit with linen. I am still adapting to that, but I just really love, you know, the choices out there in the modeling. And I've been picking up a variety of these small pieces to just kind of get my feet wet and start with that. And then along my travels, I also saw this crab fabric for finishing. Very, very cute. So I'm having a crabby moment right now, which will probably come up in conversation in a bit. All right, so we're going to move right on in next to my designer whip parade. And when I say designer whip parade, I just mean specifically that I am focusing today on Country Cottage Needleworks, and let me get the right name of this series, the Sampler of the Month series. And I think this first became available in 2020. Yes, it has a 2020 copyright on it. And I'm going to show you how I have done FFOs for some of the months. And I apologize for my ring light today in the location. It is very dreary today, so I need all the light I can get. And I know it's reflecting off my glasses. So I purchased this frame from Hobby Lobby. It's an easel. And there's a frame that was recommended with that series, but everyone loved that calendar series. I think it came right at the right time of the pandemic, and people just went crazy over purchasing that series. Specifically, my experience was with Fat Quarter Shop, and they were promoting a frame that specifically went with it. Well, they could not keep up with the orders for that frame. So I've noticed that many of us have gone out and purchased this Hobby Lobby easel because it pretty much frames these. So did the magnet treatment. I put the magnet on there, the washer on the back. The back of this one is like just a felt. I put some batting behind the stitching. It is on sticky board. And then the same with this piece behind it is sticky board with just coordinating fabric. So I was trying to let the, especially for January, I wasn't thrilled with the Ada that I picked from my stash because of the white of the snowman. I would have wanted that to be a little bit more prominent. I really love the February in this series. So I had a lot of fun with this one. And, oh, I did it on it's a Lori Holt, I think it's called Barely Pink Ada. I got it from Fat Quarter Shop. And I just really liked it and went all out with doing a custom button there from some other Valentine fabric that I did some table runners with, and so that coordinates in the kitchen. Just a little fun doodad with the with the rickrack. And I store all of them in this container. It just happens to be perfect size. And so the ones that are actually FFO'd get stored in here. Sort of have to fluff up bows and things, but this one is March, and I didn't get a chance to really see it because I was in Florida all of March. Worked remotely from down there, and so this is normally on display. Same sort of treatment on the sticky board. And my fun story about this is that I worked on this in 2021 when we were still waiting for our chances to get a vaccine. I think that was when we were starting to get vaccines. So I was not going out very much in that January, February time frame when I would have worked on this. And so I had a piece of Ada, and I actually used green tea to dye it. So thought that was a little clever for March. It really actually did come out sort of green on like a beige background. And I'll go ahead and show you July too, since it's in here. This was my July. I didn't overdo the, you know, rickrack and treatments like that, partially because I just wanted to get it finished, but it has a lot of color and pop, and I decided instead of doing the same leaf sort of motif that is at the bottom and top of these patterns, so it would have probably been something similar to this. Oh, no, I did stick with the pattern. I think this is what she did for July. They are a little bit different, each one. I did change up some of the colors. I think the blue in this is a little bit more amplified than what the called for is. Okay. And so I will move on to the months that I am still working on. Okay, so I do have April is finished. So we will see where that fell into my pile. All right, we'll see if I come across that one. Let me put this on pause. Okay, and I am back with April. And I was all mature today, and I actually pressed most of these just enough to, let's see, this is really, there we go. Shows up a little bit more. So I did change around the colors on this. I think the bunnies are normally white. I wanted to add a little bit, I wanted to add purple and lavender in this, so the house is a lavender. I had this Barely Blue, or it's a Lori Holt Ada, and it is from Fat Quarter Shop again. That's where I got it. But the whites don't show up too well on this. So that was why I made the bunnies pink and just sort of changed things around a little bit. I also did not, I am going to just finish this with these lavender lines that I did. I'm not going to continue on. There would have been more motif at the top and bottom, I believe. But I have so much to stitch and just need to keep myself moving. So, okay. So next would be May. And unfortunately, I'm not finding my May picture. Here is what I have for May, which enters in a delightful beehive. It is so lovely. And then those flowers. And the house. I may have changed up how I did the house. I'm not quite sure. And this fabric is, it is a DMC, and I don't know that they call it lemonade, but it is a blend of like yellows and pinks on like a beige background. So it's really nice, you know, for a DMC production type of fabric, you know, not a custom over-dyed fabric. It's nice. Okay, and then June has a little bit of a story. Oh, let's see. So I started June on what I thought would be, you know, similar background to the model. This is like DMC fiddler cloth that I probably picked up in my travels, like thrift store or something like that. I just don't care for it, and this was very early in my stitching journey, and I was definitely, you know, all in on Aida and everything, and I still am. But it just looks so blocky to me and so Aida-like, and I have been comparing my stitching a little too much to others and have to realize that in my intro video, I talked about that I've really only been stitching since like around September of 2020. And, you know, it's like anything. It's like learning an instrument, learning a language, learning new skills with social media. We're all on our different paths and journeys. And so I tend to compare my stitching sometimes, and why? You know, it's my stitching, and I want to stitch what appeals to me, as we all do. So from here, I did stop with June, and I think that started to sort of steer me to other things, and partially that's why I haven't finished this series just yet. So I restarted June probably last year. I chose this sort of like sky blue, and I think the colors will be really, really nice on here. You know, it's the strawberries and baskets and little ants marching on the pattern over your picnic basket. So, all right, and then we saw July, and then here is August. And again, this is Country Cottage Needleworks. This one is with fun sandcastles. Adorable. And my ocean of choice is the Atlantic. I am located in southeast Pennsylvania, so going to the Jersey Shore was a pretty frequent summer activity for our family, specifically like Stone Harbor and Avalon. Going in with a bunch of people to rent a place for a week. So I really enjoyed this, and I love the fact that the motif for the trees has changed to palm trees, and we have some fun seagulls here, the nice fence, sand dollars, my attempt at some back stitching. I do believe, you know, you probably saw some color changes. I think for all of these, the month word is in white, and so I tend to pick different colors for my backgrounds, and I just wanted to do something a little different, not have so much white. All right, and then we're moving on to September, which, you know, brings back memories of school days. And I feel like this sort of, you know, definitely with the sampler theme, definitely does have, you know, more of a sampler feel to it. I'm pretty sure I stuck mostly with the called for colors for this one. And I think it's on a Celadon Aida. During the pandemic and that first winter and Christmas, I started really adding to my stash. You can see that I need to finish some here. My pile just fell. This is where Brenda would tell Laura, the serial starter, "Oh, Laura, you're almost finished with that. You need to finish that." So in honor of Brenda telling us and giving us our marching orders, I will finish this one. And I love the trees have little apples on them, and the leaves and the apples on the books. Very, very sweet. So I don't know. I had a little story going there and I totally lost my train of thought. Pardon me as I pick up my pile here. Okay. So we are moving on to October. The photo for October has totally gone away. So those are supposed to be cats and those are supposed to be pumpkins. I do need to find my picture. Unfortunately, I have the chart, but I can't show you that because it shows too much. All right, and then we have November, which is so darling. Look at those very cute pilgrims, and the colors are so great together. So this has been very fun, and I will definitely want to get back to that. I've said in my other videos, I am pretty much a seasonal stitcher and tend to be right on the season, which means that I'm always in that catch-up mode of not having things actually finally finished, you know, to set out for that season because I'm still stitching them. But, you know, we do what we love and we make it work. This is December with cute Santa, Mrs. Claus, and some gingerbread men. And so this was another, I kind of started this very hurriedly, and I already made a mistake with these sort of flower figures are supposed to look like peppermints. And I thought, oh, you know, I'll just keep going with it. Well, I would put it in my bag and know that something was wrong and not know exactly sure what other things I need to adjust with it. So I think I'm going to just restart it and feel good about it. So this is actually a piece of Ada that's doubled over, so I definitely have a whole other piece that's big enough to start. Okay, so that is the wood parade I have for you for a specific designer. And let's see, I think I am ready to go into a new segment. So the next segment is this. So what are my Mania plans and Coronation and Coronation stitching? Now, I am sitting here realizing that I do not have my Coronation stitching chart here. So I will describe it to you. You probably, many of you, if you love Country Cottage Needleworks, it continues with that designer. Yeah, I don't have the bag here, but it is London. I was seeing, you know, that there are new charts coming out. There's some free charts coming out, and I thought, no, I have the London, it's just called London chart, and it is a small street scene. I think it has a telephone booth. It has a double-decker bus, Buckingham Palace. I think it's supposed to be the Prime Minister's house. Is that 1 Downey Lane? And something else. I don't know if it might be Big Ben. And it's on a gray background. And so yeah, I'm pulling the threads for that, getting that ready, and that is going to be started as I'm watching the Coronation, and that is going to be part of my Mania stitching. My other Mania stitching needs to incorporate the small that will be my smalls exchange for STITCHCON. I am going to be at weekend B, and I have been having a lot of trouble narrowing this down. So I'm going to just go back a minute to, if you can see this, I have shown this before. This is my Corgi Love. This is my little lady, my little Queen Elizabeth. And I had shown this before that it's been finished. I will show this again because I'm proud of her little purse. The pattern as it is, Corgi Love, can be found on Etsy, but it does not include the purse. I knew that she needed to have her little purse, so I built that in, and then just in the last 2 weeks I put the back stitching there. So she was supposed to be finished for her Jubilee, then she passed away, and she's still like this. So she needs to be finished, and what I have decided now to do, I thought, okay, probably doing an ornament would be better. Then I'm like, no, I want to do a pillow. Now I remembered that my good friend Andrea, who has taught me lots and lots and lots about quilting and sewing, she made these pin pillows, and it's a scissor keep. I also stick my little sewing clover clips on this. This is a pocket. It's actually, it's closed by the pins that I have in it. But I'm going to do this for this as a finish. And I'm also going to do it for my smalls exchange. I have a few smalls charts that I have found, but they're pretty small. They're squares, and I feel like that's what a smalls exchange is supposed to be, but yet I'm seeing some that are really kind of elaborate, and I mean elaborate to me. They're gorgeous, and people are doing them on, you know, linen and even weave, and I'm just not. I wanted to do mine on even weave. I'm just not ready for that, and I'm really running out of time. So I want to thank Made by Michelle McGraw. I watched her Flosstube yesterday, and she is often using Ada for many of her ornaments and finishes, and they look delightful. And I'm going to stop. I waffle, and I do this over time, like, oh, I really need to be, you know, graduating to Ada, or graduating to linen, graduating to even weave. And I've purchased even weave now, and I'm eager to use it. But I've purchased some beautiful Ada, over-dyed Ada, and I'm going to use that too. So anyway, all of that to say that part of my coronation enjoyment for the month of May is going to be finishing this little lady into something like this, but I'm going to, wow, she's actually pretty big. So she's going to be a little hefty thing, but the scissors piece will be on the side. So we will see how that turns out, but I'm excited about having a plan for that now. And I am going to use this lovely fabric in the back here. It's got the guards, and this fabric has the purple crown and the scepter, and really has a lot of coronation. Oh, it's got her carriage. I couldn't think of the word carriage. So I'm very eager to use this fabric, and that means I'll be able to use this fabric on the top with doing something like this, because it will use, you know, both the design of the Corgi Love with the fabric, and I'll get to see both at the same time and not just have the fabric that I love on the back. So I am very excited that I have that plan. All right, so we are at half an hour in. I feel like I'm doing okay. I was a little nervous about how much I was going to have. Okay, so still on the Mania topic. Another plan for Mania, I am not going to go all crazy and do a lot of starts. I want to really focus on whips that I love and want to get back to. I absolutely love the Country Cottage Needleworks Main Street series, and I have started many of those. If I didn't, and I think that's what I did for last year's Mania, I think I started every one of the houses that I have for Main Street. Main Street, the series, really reminds me of a boardwalk town, or a seaside type town. So you have the bookstore, you have a dress store, you have a flower shop, you know, a lot of the cute little shops that are often in her series. But I love, keep them coming because I love them all. There's even a gazebo. So my plan with Mania is to stick with that, and I want to get some of those charts in a place where I can do fill-in easy stitching when I go to STITCHCON. So again, I'm in STITCHCON B. If you're going to be there, please give a shout out. I'm so happy to see that the Flosstube chart of Flosstubers who are going to be at STITCHCON has been updated. I think a lot more people have started Flosstubes that are going to be attending, and that's just going to make it, you know, really fun. So let me know if I'm going to be meeting you there. So the other thing that I want to get back to, and I can't show these charts because I only printed out the chart. I'll show you the back. So this is all the seed packet, not all the seed packets, but seed packets that were done by Stitching with the Housewives. Pretty much use this color palette, very similar, but I know she's done a lot more that I didn't pick up. So things like beets and things might be a different color way. But I have frilly cabbage seeds. I have that packet to do. I have tomato seeds, strawberry seeds. These were some of the earliest ones that were released that very first year, and it was 2021 these came out, and they are on the Stitching with the Housewives, Priscilla and Chelsea's Etsy shop. I have daisy seeds. I sort of feel like I have zinnia, but maybe I didn't actually shoom those, as Brenda would say. Here is my floss, a little messy. And that's not quite everything because we need black in there. So what I did was I loved, this was another Lori Holt Ada that I picked up on Fat Quarter Shop back in that 2020 Christmas time. And this is, oh gosh, is it called like milk or something? It's got this really nice soft modeling with it. I don't know why I don't have more of it. I know I used a big chunk of it to work on Stitching with the Housewives Penelope. Penelope is a bunny, and it works nicely for that chart as well. So what I did here is you can see that I started, I was trying to plot out how many of, you know, can I fit these seed packets on this piece. And what's sort of funny is that there really won't be, I want to finish the seed packets as I saw someone do. Well, I'm not going to do this exact thing. She actually filled she made little pouches and she filled them with like beans or something. So you can actually shake them and it's like shaking a little seed packet. I'm not exactly sure that that's what I'm going to do. I want to have them in a dough bowl. I picked up these vintage seed packet covers. Well, it's actually it's the whole packet. Found them at an antique shop, so if you're interested in that sort of thing, you can probably find them. Just a little fun to add to the display when I get them finished. So I have just a little like 4x4 wooden box in the yard that I plant just a few vegetables in, and so I like to work on this sort of thing at this time of the year. So that will be part of my Mania stitching. The other part of Mania will be figuring out and getting pieces that I can stitch, like I was saying, to a fill-in state. So when I am at STITCHCON, when I'm driving out to STITCHCON, I have something easy and mindless that I can fill in and not feel like I'm gonna make mistakes. So let me just grab my notes because I think I am ready to move on to a different segment here. All right. And, oh, the other thing, okay, I think I already moved into my next segment. But I am sort of trying to emulate the delightful Steph from Just Keep Stitching with her cute little segments. Yeah, we're not at the segment that I was going to do. So I'm going to just tell you a little bit more about, this is my, oh, you know what? We are going to do this. So I'm going to move into my Flosstube shout outs. All right. So this is a segment that I did want to just share some Flosstube appreciation, because there are so many great Flosstubers out there, and there's some new ones that I wanted to just say how much I'm enjoying them. But I wanted to, again, talk about Michelle, made by Michelle McGraw. I watched her Flosstube yesterday, and what I really love about her is just her sense of freedom and sense of creativity, and she just really, you know, sees charts of all varying legacy times. You know, they're not all the brand new things from the most recent market, and she pulls them out and she finds what she loves about them, and she just might do one part of it. And again, I was saying that she really makes use of some over-dyed Adas that are just so cool, and whenever she shows her design placement, her stitching placement on the Ada, I feel like, wow, did she really pick where she was putting that to work with the modeling in the background, because sometimes like the color and the shading just work so perfectly. Now she really has inspired me to think a little bit more about not being so frugal about, like you can see on my Corgi Love how close to the edge I stitched. And I feel like I'll be able to sew with that. It's a little tight there with the seam allowance I've given myself, but it's not something that's going to be tugged on and pulled on like a quilt would be, where you'd want a decent seam allowance and everything. But she really, Michelle gives herself a really good border to work with, because then it gives you more options too if you change your mind about what you want to finish it into. Oh, the other thing that Michelle showed is Mirabilia freebies. I am not a Mirabilia stitcher, but she mentioned their site, so if you are, go ahead and take a look at their site for some freebies. I am enjoying so much, I think it's Laura from iStitchBirds with a question mark. I have just really enjoyed her Flosstube, and her setup is delightful. So I am a child of the 70s, and I very much remember PBS equating with Alistair, I can't think of his last name now, of Masterpiece Theater, sitting in his big velvety type chair in front of the fireplace, luscious background. Well, Laura, you have to take a look at her. She sits in her lovely, luscious big chair in front of shelves, stacks, bookcases, shelves and shelves of her cookbook collection. Now, I am not a big cook, but I love cookbooks. I love looking at them. They are pieces of art, and you just need to go check her out. So that is iStitchBirds with a question mark. I think she said she was born in Finland and she now lives in England. The other thing that I love about her is her honesty, and she has been having, you know, some not so joyous times. But I think those who have been watching her, she's been making videos so frequently because she's getting, you know, she's getting the rewards that she's been looking for. And now she comes on and she's giggling, and she's, I think, feeling lifted up. So that's really been happy to see. It's so cool seeing some of the kits that she has too, because they're old you know, some of them are older patterns and things, and it's just always fun to see other people's stashes. Another shout out I'm going to give for a floss tuber is Kathleen with Snickerdoodle Stitch. And she talks about, I think she has 2 floss tubes out there now, and she has been a stitcher for a while. I won't reveal what she says, but she's my good friend, so you need to watch her. And she has a lovely collection of FFOs because she has been stitching over a very long period of time, so she's able to show the FFO styles of yesteryear and what she's doing now. Little does she know that when she's going to be driving me to STITCHCON, when we go to STITCHCON B, and we will be roomies and table mates, we're going to be doing a little cross-stitch carpool on the way to Cincinnati. Don't think it's going to involve any singing, but I have some ideas. So since we each have our own floss tubes now, I think there's, you know, maybe some cross-referencing, cross-pollinating of the cross-stitch floss tubes for us. So stay tuned for that. All right, and my final shout out today is with Nicola Parkman from Hands Across the Sea. I don't always watch her floss tube, but I'm so glad I watched today. She had some things in there that really resonated for me. I've been having a little bit of a rough time with work primarily, and just trying to find my way through some change that's happening, and also just this comparing type of thing. And I think it's happening for a lot of people because we love watching the beauty that comes across Instagram and social media. You know, the pictures, and those that put a lot of time into it can really be just soothing. But I'm just having a little bit of struggles. And in Nicola's floss tube this morning, she talked about some of the samplers, and a real recent one she purchased off of eBay. And this 6-year-old girl, she said her stitches are pretty much perfect, but there's some mistakes, some quirkiness that she added. And she's like, I love a quirky sampler because we're not perfect, and we're not perfect stitchers. And I have to remember that for myself, that to enjoy Flosstube for what it is and what I get out of it, but I don't need to compare my stitching, my choices, my fabric capabilities with others. It's not about that. So I need to just give myself some grace and chill out a little bit. She reads this wonderful card because Nicola just recently turned 60, and she's been getting some very nice cards from people. So I wanted to give you some information on the minutes of when she talks about this. So she starts reading the card around 20 minutes in, and she reads this person's card and just talking about the value of birthdays and how important they are, because they're remembrances of what we have done for other people, that our lives have meant something to other people in ways that we don't even know. The card said it way, way better than I do, and I really recommend listening to that. All right. So if you're still hanging on with me, thank you so much, because I know I'm babbling on here. I should be showing more and not babbling as much. All right. So with talking about FFOs, I'm going to jump into this segment of showing another person's FFO. And this is something I picked up at an antique shop. I spent I think it was $24 on this. When I saw this, I was just so impressed with the stitches, just how even, how delicate, and there are some beads there in the flowers in the basket. And we can probably guess at what period of time this was stitched. I'm guessing, you know, the mid-80s with the colors and things. So where our stitching winds up, we're not sure, but hopefully the right people will have appreciation for our hobby, even if it's us to each other. Because, you know, I know that we get the blank stares of like, what? What do you watch? And what do you do on YouTube? Why do you have all that stuff? So I wanted to also say that it's kind of cool. I bought this in the Lancaster area of Pennsylvania. Bought it in Adamstown in particular, if you know Adamstown. This frame, the framing was done in Homosassa, Florida. There's no date to it, but it's curious to know how far that traveled to get to Adamstown and be sold. So that will be going somewhere in my sewing room here in the background is what you're seeing. I also wanted to show, I painted this birdhouse definitely 20 years ago at least. And with the sunflower and the beehive there, and it goes around here. This was, you know, like an AC Moore find. I thought, there's a blank spot. Perhaps I could be putting some stitching on there. So we'll see. You know, FFO finish gizmos can come in, you know, different shapes and sizes and materials. I love this. This is an easel frame that was from Hobby Lobby. Let's see if I can give you the number right off the bat. 1119, if that's the right number. But this is clip. So just being able to stick something in there and seasonally rotate them, I just, you know, love that sort of treatment. Like Lori Holtz, her little stitch cards or squares, they would fit in here nicely. I run into a problem with a lot of these. I thought my bunnies would fit in here, but the clips are often a little too low, and then it doesn't work too well. And love this. I saw someone have this for actually a Christmas design. So there was a Santa. So the red, white, and black goes well with this aqua. It's very easy to take this metal thing out and do what you want. You could actually take it off here and use the metal to hang your finishing. What I've done before is actually turn this around and sort of cover up this. This is metal, so you could, you know, use the magnet treatment. And this is, again, is Hobby Lobby. No sticker on it. Okay, so let me just see if I had any final. Okay, that was sort of my Silly Notions segment too. So one final thing is happy Coronation, happy Kentucky Derby. So it's going to be a busy Saturday. So Coronation in the morning, Kentucky Derby in the evening. And wanted to show off my Harrods bag from a friend who just gave this to me. Feel very delighted and lucky for that. It's a lovely tote bag. I do some English paper piecing. That's what this is. Here's my Windsor Castle tea container. When I landed in London, we immediately went to Windsor Castle and we sat through a Sunday service at St. George's Chapel. So I sat right in front of where they have the opening to the Royal Vault, where the Queen was laid for a bit. So I know that I'm sort of rambling now, but I feel like there was something else I wanted to tell you. This is what I wanted to say. I am really looking forward to June 3rd. There is, if you're in the Pennsylvania area, at schwenkfelder.org, you can look up Penn Dry Goods Market, and it's in Pennsbury, PA. They have several sessions that celebrate antique needlework, and I have signed up for the First Ladies and their needlework, Martha Washington to Barbara Bush. So it's kind of like what Rachel has been sharing with us all on her Flosstube. And this person is actually a volunteer at the Textile Collection of the Natural Museum of American History. So I'm really looking forward to that lecture. There is also then an antiques market right there, so you can purchase various notions, actual samplers, which unfortunately in America, the framed samplers that I saw last year, I mean, they're hundreds of dollars into the thousands, and it's like I want one very badly. But I picked up one of these tomatoes in my cute little signature bowl. Picked up one of those at the market last year. The other session I signed up for is called, well, it had sort of a weird name. So the session is about fashions and documents of women on the westward migration, and it compares Laura Ingalls Wilder's descriptions of textiles with photos from that time. So I thought that should be really cool. They put everything up on a very large screen, and that is being the lecturer is Lynn Bassett. She's an independent curator and author. So that sort of event can fill my stitchy soul as well, and you know, just kind of balances out the everyday toils and chores and things that come along. And so I'm so thankful. So I am off now to go hopefully see Brenda and Laura's new Flosstube. I live for them coming up every 2 weeks, and a few others. Mama Loves You GB. So check out the description below for some links, and thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel. I hope you like it. I hope you subscribe, and check me out on Instagram. All right, happy stitching.